The following is produced by 5 Star Productions USA, which is solely responsible for its editorial content and is sponsored in part by a grant from Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care.
The American bald eagle often symbolizes American strength and pride, but somehow the ostrich better represents our energy policy. For too long, we've had our heads buried in the sand, pumping and digging emission-laden fossil fuels from the earth. When we lift our heads high like the eagle, we see the sun and the water and feel the power of the wind. Each one represents a renewable, almost infinite energy source. Hello, I'm Ed Begley Jr., and this is today's Environment, coming to you from the Magic Kingdom in the Walt Disney World Resort, where we're taking a close look at the strategies and action plans going on right now that may help preserve our future. Beauty is only skin deep, that's how the saying goes, but people still spend millions of dollars every year on products to make themselves look good. What would be truly beautiful is if those cosmetics could be made in a way that would not blemish the earth. Let's watch.
Money makes the world go around, or so they say, and that motto seems to be ample justification for ruthless profiteers to plunder the planet. The devastation put upon the earth and its creatures in the quest for the almighty dollar could drive short-term earnings into our ultimate extinction. But fortunately, some companies like John Paul Mitchell Systems have the courage of their convictions and fight fire with fire, or profits with profits. The co-founder, John Paul DeJoria, directs a wide-ranging multi-million-dollar philanthropic effort to address specific environmental needs. As part of the launch of the Creatives Herbal Complex series of botanically enriched hair care products, the company joined the plant charter group of Botanic Gardens Conservation International to work for the preservation of endangered plant species and heighten awareness of the vital importance of plants on our future survival and well-being.
The future belongs to our children, and to make sure it's filled with hope and great potential, John Paul Mitchell Systems joined with the Cousteau Society to enact the Bill of Rights for future generations. And they recently joined with other beauty product companies to form AIDS Relief Fund for beauty professionals. And this provides immediate assistance for people in their industry afflicted with that disease.
Ongoing support of the Big Mountain Weaving Project has given women of the Dene tribe a powerful voice against huge mining interests. They've managed to stop mining operations on ancient burial grounds and win other important concessions from the mining companies. Again, the future remains an important vision for the company, and a $75,000 donation to help establish a safe haven in riot-torn Los Angeles will help socioeconomically disadvantaged young men and women grow to their full potential.
God, Benny, we have more than one computer now. Yeah. We used to have one computer.
Yeah, right.
Now we have all these computers.
Yeah, right.
So we could actually have half a dozen kids going at the same time on computers. What we're building out here at the Blazer House is a center for the animals, a wilderness environment in the middle of the city. Oh, Benny, you did such a great job down here. Such a great job.
As a unique, holistic model learning center, special programs will focus on adult literacy, guidance for at-risk youth, and adult and youth tutoring. Other grants support the fight against cruelty to animals and preserving rainforests across the globe.
So many issues on our planet need to be addressed. Rainforest, animal rights, and the rights of the upcoming generation are just a few of the things that are worth fighting for. My company and I have been very fortunate, and to use some of our profits to help make the earth a better place to live goes hand in hand with what we're all about. Beauty. It's not simply nice hair, it comes straight from the soul.
So impressive are the array of environmental accomplishments achieved by John Paul DeJoria that he was one of 3 persons selected by Eco Expo and the United Nations Environmental Program to receive the 1995 Environmental Award. The splendor of the third planet should not be squandered by the greed of the first person. Environmental philanthropists may be today's modern crusaders who battle low ethics with high finance.
You could heat 250,000 homes a day. With the energy used to produce your daily delivery of junk mail, the thought leaves me cold. Get involved with today's environment today.
The saying, mind over matter, refers to the brain's ability to overcome impossible tasks. Solving today's environmental ills may be one of these, and preparing young minds to confront such matters could be the key to our survival. Let's look closer.
Today's forecast calls for hazy skies. The cause? Smog. In these modern times, the quality of air leaves a lot to be desired, and considering our need to breathe, well, we're all at risk. Polluted air is linked to impaired lung function and respiratory disease, especially for athletes, young children, and the elderly. Worldwide, over 1.5 billion people are breathing unhealthy air, resulting in increased mortality rates. Our vehicles, industry, and our lifestyle are some of the major contributors to the unhealthful air we breathe. Air that many scientists believe contribute to respiratory diseases. In the war against air pollution, battles have been won. The catalytic converter and unleaded gasoline have drastically reduced automobile emissions. But to meet national mandates for cleaner air, scientists and regulators agree that every source of pollutants must be attacked. One key strategy is to step up research, and this facility at the University of California, Riverside, the Bourns College of Engineering Center for Environmental Research and Technology, might provide much of the knowledge that could allow us to breathe cleaner air. This award-winning center works in partnership with industry, government agencies, and national laboratories to develop clean air technologies and provide a scientific basis for air quality regulations. And the students learn from actual hands-on experience. The research program here encompasses all the technical areas needed to understand the air pollution problem and will hopefully lead to developing more environmentally friendly energy, transportation, and industry. In the Vehicle Emissions Research Lab, students and teachers take a hard look at the pollutants released by today's engines and the fuels that may power our future, like the fuel cell car, hydrogen-powered truck, and electric vehicle being studied by the Advanced Vehicle Engineering Group. In the Environmental Modeling Center, researchers develop and apply comprehensive air quality simulations that explore the transport and chemical transformation of pollutants. Their work often impacts the ongoing projects to develop the advanced technologies for renewable fuels and energy engineering. Not all air pollution comes from vehicles, so emission researchers evaluate technologies to control pollutants released from non-transportation sources, like restaurants, dry cleaners, and printing shops, even household appliances and motorized gardening tools. Smog may be our most visible sign of air pollution, and these smog chambers help engineers in the Atmospheric Processes Group study how emissions react in our atmosphere. Other courses and projects delve into transportation research systems to improve traffic mobility and reduce vehicle emissions. When a college laboratory can devote much of its curriculum to battling air pollution, every time a student graduates, well, we all breathe a little easier.
Thirsty? Americans go through 2.5 million plastic bottles every hour. And with high technology, that used plastic may be turned into virtually anything, even yarns. Think about it. Some new textiles might help strengthen the fabric of the earth. Here's how.
It's time to draw the line. Pollution has gone far enough. Americans gulp through over 50 million plastic bottles every single day. Most of those containers wind up in landfills. Our current gas guzzlers belch emissions mile after mile, while inadequate battery technology holds back the emergence of zero-emission electric vehicles like a heavy anchor.
Part of the solution to these problems may lie in a very unlikely one-word answer: textiles. Now, believe it or not, the recycled resin produced from used plastic bottles can be turned into fabric.
Textile researchers like these scientists working at TANDEC, the Textiles and Nonwovens Development Center at the University of Tennessee, are finding innovative ways to use plastics in a variety of textile uses. And when the ingredients call for plastic, recycled plastic can often fill the bill. This one-atmosphere gas plasma reactor may be the key to open the door for many different uses of plastic textiles, even in clothing. When melt-blown or spun-bond plastic fabrics pass through this plasma, the reaction makes the material wettable and more comfortable to wear. Before treatment, this fabric won't accept moisture. However, after passing through the plasma, the textile absorbs water. The The improved wettability should allow polyester and other synthetic fabrics to be dyed with much less polluting chemicals and with less energy. One primary environmental application of wettable polypropylene is in melt-blown battery separators in lead-acid batteries. Since battery casings are usually polypropylene, when dead, the entire battery can be recycled as one single plastic. Wettable polypropylene can absorb sulfuric acid in lead-acid batteries like a sponge, and thus allow the weight of the heavy chemical to be reduced by 1/2, or it can double the output of a same-sized battery. This innovation alone could help accelerate the mass introduction of zero-emission electric vehicles. Plasma represents the fourth state of matter. It is vapor in such an excited state that it becomes ionized. The energy in the ions change the surface of the plastic fabric in a way that may not be accomplished any other way or only with significant toxic waste. These treated fabrics can be made into comfortable protective clothing when laminated with cotton in the center. The garments feel dry, yet wick moisture away from the skin and into the inner cotton layer.
For plastic bottles, rapidly developing technology and innovation may be recalling their one-way ticket to the landfill. And for the environment, well, textiles just may be part of the return fare to a pollution-free state.
You alone can wipe out 10 pounds of carbon dioxide emissions every year for the rest of your life and beyond with one simple act: plant a tree. Get involved with today's environment today.
Well, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is we've significantly lowered the emissions belching out of our tailpipes in the last 25 years. The bad news is there's so many more tailpipes now, pollution is getting worse in some regions. But this might help.
You know, driving to work could be hazardous to your health. Auto emissions account for over half of the toxics in the air, and that pollution contributes to nearly 120,000 premature deaths nationally each year.
Population growth and an increase in the miles we travel add more emissions than efficient engines can reduce. So to really take a bite out of air pollution, we have to change our habits.
That's why many employers are telling their workers to stay home. This person works for the Arizona Department of Commerce, and she's a participant in the telecommuting program. Several times a week, she escapes the stop-and-go traffic on the asphalt freeways and commutes to work at light speed on the electronic highway. It's part of the state of Arizona's innovative approach to meet federal air quality mandates and reduce air pollution at the source. Taking cars off the highway cuts down on traffic congestion and also saves energy. The state of Arizona's telecommuting program went into operation in 1990 and now stands as a model for other organizations. The state designed a turnkey plan complete with guidebooks and training videos so that other companies could start telecommuting programs more easily. Considering the enormous environmental costs of moving people to a central location every day, the decision to transfer information instead makes more sense. Although designed as a plan to combat air pollution, telecommuting has delivered several other benefits. Results show a significant increase in worker productivity, job satisfaction, and a decrease in absenteeism and employee burnout. So telecommuting makes business sense. It's easy to understand when you realize that often the commute to and from work can be the most stressful part of the day. An average commuter who drives 30 minutes to work spends the equivalent of 30 workdays going to and from the office every year.
Air pollution is a global problem. Telecommuting is one of Arizona's many innovative approaches to reducing pollution at the source. It holds implications far beyond Arizona's borders, and we make our models available to any organization who might be interested.
The tyranny of traffic drains worker productivity, energy reserves, and our clean air supply. Now, the freedom of working at home liberates employees from the confines and distractions of the office routine.
In an age where information moves nearly emission-free at the speed of light, expending resources to move people at prevailing speed limits should only be done on an as-needed basis. Because those costly commutes to work could drive our environment right out of business.
Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That's a good policy for anyone involved in potentially hazardous situations. Quick response to a problem can be the difference between an emergency and a disaster. Let's take a closer look.
It's a matter of chemistry. The products we all use every day simply would not be possible without chemicals. And although they may be quite safe in small quantities, in bulk loads, they're often classified as potentially hazardous. Moving those substances from the chemical plant to a product manufacturing facility can pose a safety risk to human health and the environment. No matter how well we plan, accidents can happen, and when they involve hazardous chemicals, the situation can become dangerous. Often, chemicals travel by rail and tank cars, and many transportation companies, like the Illinois Central Railroad, take extensive precautions to help ensure the safe passage of their cargo. Physical precautions like reinforced tank cars with double or insulated walls, front and rear steel head shields, emergency pressure relief valves, and double shelf couplers can prevent the separation of cars and possible tank punctures in the unlikely event of a derailment. Safe and diligent operation, however, provides the most important key to preventing accidents. Everyone involved along the route is committed to the company's goal of zero incidents, yet they are prepared for a worst-case situation. Many railroad employees receive intensive hands-on emergency response training, and railroad and chemical experts provide training to firefighters and other community emergency responders and work with municipal governments to develop emergency plans. How an individual responds in the seconds after an incident can prevent a problem from turning into a crisis. Illinois Central's Incident Response Center maintains active contingency plans for every hazardous situation. And emergency response networks of hazardous materials teams, environmental experts, and local emergency crews remain on alert 24 hours a day. A problem-specific response team can be assembled within minutes anywhere the train tracks run.
We're very proud of our safety record in transporting chemicals. The employee safety medals that we've been awarded over the last 5 years give additional credibility to our safety program. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, railroads are one of the safest industries in America. Almost 2 million freight cars of hazardous material are shipped annually by railroad. Yet, accidents involving a release of hazardous material are rare. Rail transport is not only safer, but 3 times more fuel efficient than moving the same quantity of product over public highways.
Without modern chemicals, life as we know it would be very different. Safely transporting that cargo from where it's made to where it's used remains an important challenge to protect human health and the planet. Improved tank car safety features and well-conceived emergency response plans that cover all contingencies can help us enjoy the benefits of better chemistry while we keep the environment on the right track.
People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. We often condemn industry for pollution, yet enormous amounts of hazardous waste come from American households. It's good to make them clean up their act, but at the same time, we better clean up our own. Here's more.
Sometimes the source is easy to spot. Other times, only the results are apparent. But one thing is perfectly clear. Hazardous waste mixed with the environment is a recipe for disaster. Believe it or not, single-family homes may often be bigger contributors to pollution than a massive factory, because what seems like insignificant amounts can get multiplied millions of times.
Household products and automotive fluids can be toxic, corrosive, flammable, or reactive. Now, these chemicals can get into the environment from any number of ways and contribute to what's called non-point source pollution of our water resources.
Few people are aware that these household products are considered hazardous waste when they're no longer wanted, and even fewer know how to properly dispose of them. That's why many counties and cities across America are attempting to raise awareness and provide an easy answer to the question of proper disposal. This household hazardous waste roundup, conducted countywide by the Los Angeles County Department of Public Works in cooperation with the sanitation districts of Los Angeles County, offers the 9 million residents of the county and its 88 cities an environmentally responsible way to get rid of unwanted hazardous products. Paints, nail polish, used oil, floor cleaners, and other products harmful to the environment are all welcome at this roundup. About 90% of all products brought in get recycled for other uses. Used oil is one good example. Even the paint brought to a roundup can be used for graffiti coverage. Properly disposing of your household hazardous waste starts with proper identification. Check the labels. If it's toxic, reactive, corrosive, or flammable, then it probably doesn't belong down the sink and it certainly doesn't belong in the trash or in a storm drain. When you consider that one single quart of motor oil can contaminate 250,000 gallons of fresh water, and that each year nationwide about 350 million gallons of it ends up in our environment, well, the importance of proper disposal becomes perfectly clear. Paint and paint products make up about 60% of the household hazardous waste brought to roundups by individuals.
Careful shopping can help eliminate much of your home disposal challenge. Try to select the least hazardous product for the job. Buy only what you need and try to use it all. And when it comes to paint, give a second coat or touch-up to eliminate leftovers.
Your city or county could also have a program like this one for handling household hazardous waste. With your active support and cooperation in properly disposing of the hazardous waste in your household, you can be a big part of the solution to a major environmental challenge.
The verdict's still out on yard work. Some of us love it and others hate it. There is one thing for sure, however. Our lawns are a major drain on landfill space. 18% of the municipal solid waste stream is yard waste. That's about 35 million tons of leaves, grass, twigs, and sticks every year. Composting, like they do here at the Walt Disney World Resort, can turn your yard waste into a rich fertilizer. Try it. You'll have a prettier lawn and everyone will have more landfill space. Finding solutions for ecological problems takes innovation, inspiration, and hard work. Join us again next time as we explore more environmental solutions on Today's Environment.
The Magic Kingdom is located at the Walt Disney World Resort near Orlando, Florida. Accommodations provided by the Buena Vista Palace, Walt Disney World Village. If you know of any interesting environmental success stories, call us at 407-997-9800. This has been a presentation of 5 Star Productions USA. The preceding program was sponsored in part by a grant from Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care.